The following is a presentation of William Patterson University Television.
Oh, welcome back to the desk. The NBA season is speeding along, and here to talk all things hoops, we have Nijee, Danny, Tristin, and Justis. Now, Justis, we'll go to you first. Wednesday night, the Philadelphia 76ers in a potential finals matchup. I doubt that, but we'll get into that. They played the Los Angeles Lakers. They won on not a buzzer beater, but a game-winning shot by Tobias Harris. They were calling him J. Cole on Twitter. I don't understand that. That's a little funny to me. But Philly narrowly took the win in a matchup between two possible MVP candidates with LeBron and Joel Embiid. Could this be the year for Philly? Because they've been saying trust the process.
Tobias Harris definitely looks like J. Cole, but as far as Philly making the finals, I honestly don't think that this is the year for them. They're sitting number one at the East right now. They had a great start. Tyrese Maxey has been a pleasant surprise for them, but the main reason they're winning right now is because Joel Embiid is playing like an MVP. Now, as much as people say that Kyrie Irving might not be there for the playoffs, you can say the same thing for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's been injured every single year that he's played. There's no guarantee that he'll be there for the playoffs. And you take away Joel Embiid, you saw what happens when they're missing a star in the playoffs. First round exit. So to top it all off, Tobias Harris closed out the game last night. They almost blew a big lead. So
Yes.
I don't think that they have a consistent closer yet. So I think there's definitely some question marks with that team.
Najee?
Okay, it's only three ways that the Pacers got the East. One, Joel Embiid got to be MVP throughout the whole season, even the playoffs. Two, Ben Simmons had to be aggressive almost the whole game, 48 minutes, just aggressive the whole game. And three, Tobias Harris have to be the number three best player on that team. Consistent. He got to be consistent, put up 20 plus points, or at least between 15 and 20 every night, just for them to at least make it out the East. Because that Nets team, they score too much points too fast for that Saints team to be like, okay, let Joel Embiid have a night, let Ben Simmons have a night. No, they gotta be all three gotta go for like at least 30.
Tristin?
I think Nijee covered that pretty well. That Nets team, to me, offensively is just too high-powered for anyone in the East to stop. They're struggling defensively, but I think regardless, I don't think the Sixers will be able to stop them. Joel Embiid will have to be the MVP of that team if they want to contend. Ben Simmons is going to have to be significantly more aggressive. Maybe it's always been hard to ask of him, but maybe hit a 3 or 2 every game.
Come on. Let's get realistic.
They need it. Personally, I still think it's a little too early, obviously, to say if the Sixers will make it or not. But I think if they can keep MVP Embiid a little more consistent, maybe.
Danny, we've heard some slander, I guess, today. I guess we'll call that slander against the 76ers. Do you think there's give me a small percentage. Is there any chance that they do make it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals or a tough semifinals matchup like they did when they played the Raptors in 2019?
Oh, I mean, a tough semifinals matchup, yeah, it's a definite possibility because I feel like they're one of the honestly, there may be two because I don't trust like Milwaukee at all because Giannis' deficiencies at the end of games is like.
We heard you last week. His 1 for 10 percentage from the free throw line.
His free throws, like they're free, and they don't really have a closer either. So I mean, like at least Toby can shoot and space it. And honestly, Joel probably is their closer in like 9 times out of 10. But Toby just had the matchup, so I'd give him like for a tough semifinal matchup, like 60%. Conference finals, I'd give him like 40, and then like finals would be like 10 or 20.
If you look at your finals chances on Tobias Harris, there's a chance.
I feel like those numbers are respectable, though.
Yeah, he does. He's always put up respectable numbers. He's always been a solid to good player in the NBA. Now, somebody who they keyed on in the playoffs last year, Anthony Davis, the Lakers did use him a lot. Up to the NBA Finals where LeBron took it, where respectively he should have. He's had some struggles this year. I'm not sure if he's like been living on the championship life a little too much, or he's just like satisfied with what he did last year. He's now out with a quad injury. Danny, we'll start with you. Should the Lakers have some concerns this year?
I mean, like slight concerns because of like overusage and like Anthony Davis isn't the most like compared to LeBron. He's not like the Iron Man like LeBron is. Honestly, he's like the opposite side of this spectrum because in the beginning of his career, he's kind of like brittle and he's like injury prone. So it is a slight concern. I would say like it's weird because LeBron, he's playing like he's 27 and then Anthony Davis is playing like he's 36.
See, Danny,
So
I
it's
like that you said that though, because I think that might turn into the issue. He's 36 and he's playing like he's 27. And if AD is going to be out for, I'm not sure, a long period of time, that might not be the best thing for LeBron to be doing.
Not at all, because like heavy minutes at this point in the season is like he already won one and they like then they won in like October, so it's not like that far removed. So minutes are piling up, even though this is like the lowest minutes of his career. So it's a slight concern.
Najee?
Okay, I feel like it may be a concern because, like I said earlier, AD been injury prone since he's got in the league, and he had a short off season this year. So I feel like him getting this quad injury may be like a injury in the future and run the playoffs.
Justis?
Yeah, I have to agree with them. I think that they should be slightly concerned. Anthony Davis has shown that he's been a little injury prone in the beginning of his career, and the Clippers don't look like they're playing games this year. I know it's the regular season, I know, but
Hey, they won last night without Kawhi or Paul George, and they played a decent team. I know the Heat's missing some guys too.
exactly. So if they're gonna win the finals again, LeBron, he's 36 years old. Even though he's wild in this season, but he needs Anthony Davis, to play like Anthony Davis.
Tristin, quickly.
I'm not that worried. I think the only thing they should be worried about is if this is like an extended period of time injury. In the 17 games that he's played this season, he's still averaging 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. So when he's on the floor, I mean, if we're gonna call that a struggle, I'll take it. I'm not a Laker fan, but I'm even sure most Laker fans will take that. It's not his usual probably 25, 26, 10 rebounds, maybe 4 or 5 assists, but unless his injury is prolonged and God forbid it turns into something more serious, like Nijee said, I don't think there's too much call for concern, but it's understandable why people would be.
I'll be the optimistic one out the group. I think this injury could be a blessing in disguise. As we said, the season just ended in October, so I think that's going to give Anthony Davis the good time to rest, get fully healthy. So if he needs to take a week, 2 weeks, I think that would be the best for him. Now, we keep it in the Western Conference, something that's very surprising to me. The Houston Rockets, they traded James Harden. They went on their way. They got Victor Oladipo from the Indiana Pacers when they flipped Karis LeVert. They won a game last night against the Portland Trail Blazers. This was their 4th win in a row. Justis, what do we see with the Rockets? Because, I mean, the play-in games are a thing this year too, so they can have a chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I actually think they are going to make it to the playoffs, and I think that surprisingly, they might do the same thing they did with James Harden this year. I can see them making it to the second round. Obviously, they're not a championship team. I think that what they need to be focusing on is next year. I think that they need to re-sign Victor Oladipo, because he is a free agent. And I think that they need to take all of the trade assets they got from my Nets and, try to trade it and get some more players because Boogie looks like Boogie and Christian Wood has been playing great.
John Wall as well.
John Wall's been playing great. They have some good pieces, so they could turn they could turn into something good.
I know the next question is about the Washington Wizards, so I'll just briefly say this. The Rockets are winning this trade so far. The Rockets, they look like they have been winning this trade so far. Danny, we'll go to you. I thought once James Harden left, the Houston organization would be in the dumpster fire, but they're competitive. And I guess they have a file under them because James Harden did want to leave. So just what are your thoughts on what they're going to do so far? Because it's looking impressive.
It is looking impressive, honestly. Like Justis said, they're like a fringe playoff team, or I don't know about second round because of how deep like the West is, but they have a motley crew of individuals. I like Christian Wood. He's one of the more underrated players of the league, averaging like 23 and 11, averaging a double-double. Oladipo is a great player. Him and John Wall in the backcourt is solid, and then Boogie off the bench is really good. Don't forget about PJ Tucker and Aaron Gordon. So they have sort of a deep team.
Yes, and they can still use those guys as trade assets as well, because I know some teams might want the tours of the stretch and getting closer to the trade deadline. I think some people might want Eric Gordon and also PJ Tucker. Tristin.
If I can be honest here, I don't think the Rockets are going to make the playoffs. I think they might just miss it. I'm happy to see John Wall back. I do hope the Rockets prove me wrong here. I have slightly more of a reason to like them now that Harden and D'Antoni aren't there. I don't know, man. Something feels off about it. The Wall's always been an all-star whenever he plays, whenever he's healthy, but he's not James Harden. So it's kind of hard to lose a firepower like that. And you do get a Victor Oladipo in return, and I think re-signing him is going to be very important for them. But I still think they're missing something. The Blazers are formidable, even though they're only 9-8. That offense is good. So it was a good win for them, but I don't know. It's a little iffy for me.
Yeah, it's very understandable too. Nijee, close this out.
Okay, this Houston Rockets team is finally clicking together. But I'm highly upset about the Wizard organization for trading John Wall to Houston. Because I know we all been watching John Wall for the past 2 years since he got injured. This past summer, he been wilding in every gym he went to, working on his game nonstop. And I know the Wizard organization seen that, and they still traded him. And look at this now. I think he averaging almost like 19, 20 right now. So John Wall and the Houston Rockets team are going to make the playoffs. Maybe that's an 8th seed, probably 7th seed. But I'm just saying right there, they messed up trading him.
He's proven it, and we got to give him credit for that. Nijee, you just touched on the Washington Wizards. They are currently the worst team in the Eastern Conference, sitting at 3-11. Bradley Beal has been tremendous as he was last year. He's averaging 35 points a game. He's voiced his frustrations. He said the sky is blue when somebody asked him if he was frustrated.
Free that man.
That's gonna end up,
man.
It's gonna end up being a meme. Nijee, I'll start with you. I'm not sure if he's gonna be traded, but if he is traded, where do you want to see him?
First thing first, let's start the movement. Free Bradley Beal, because he averaging 34 and still taking those. I don't understand that, but they want to move. If he get traded, he's not going to be in the East, but he definitely going to be like they always move their best player to the opposite conference. So I would rather see him on what's a good team that got a lot of pieces. Houston probably trade for him because they got a lot of picks, but he's not going to do that. OKC, no, I like seeing him in OKC jersey because OKC have the picks to do it. Him and
Alexander. That could be interesting.
Go backcourt.
But I'm not sure if Sam Presti's going to give up them draft picks because they robbed the Clippers, and it may end up being the right move. Danny, I know he probably won't be traded in the Eastern Conference, but where would you? I'm not sure if you're going to say the Nuggets, but
you might have an inkling because I'm so I've contemplated about this a lot because it predicates upon the fact that we would have to give up MPJ, and honestly, we may have our own homegrown big three right now, but if we want to run right now, Bradley Beal is a proven commodity, and I would love to see him be a big three with Nikola and Jamal. That is a contender out the West, might even be the best team in the West. So the Denver Nuggets is what I think where he could end up.
Tristin.
So I had an idea in my head until I heard you say something earlier. I think the Rockets could be interesting. Originally, I was going to say Miami, but if Miami was able to do it without losing Tyler Herro, which is unlikely, I would say pull the trigger. But Houston, I think we saw in that Washington game that no matter what happens, John Wall and Brad Beal are going to be brothers for the rest of their lives. With his own teammate in Russell Westbrook kind of trash talking John Wall, you see the picture, you see the video of Brad Beal by John Wall's side the entire time. I think if you can reignite that duo, bring them back together, give up, even if it's only 2 or 3 of those 8 first-round picks you got from Brooklyn, I think it could be interesting. I say that a lot, but I would like to see it.
That would be nice to see. I'm not sure Houston would do that though, but maybe. That is very interesting that you say that. Justis, close us out here.
Yes, Samory, I know you touched on it in A block. The Wizards are 0-10 this season when Bradley Beal drops 40 points or more. That's disgusting.
That hurts. That hurts.
Just think about that already. He's already scored 40 in 10 games.
10 games.
They can't guard anybody. Their defense is atrocious.
Oh, yeah, no. They're definitely
bringing me physical pain to hear.
Yeah. Their defense is terrible. They're definitely the trailblazers of the East. As far as where Bradley Beal should go, I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz. They're currently sitting at number 1 in the West. I think that Donovan Mitchell and Bradley Beal, that would be a duo that can pretty much outscore anyone. And if you keep Rudy Gobert, that creates another big 3 in the league. And, you know, if you're talking about the playoffs, if you have Rudy Gobert, you have someone who could guard, you know, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, maybe Joel Embiid. You know, I think that they would make noise. They would make serious noise in the West.
Yeah, a lot of interesting topics, a lot of interesting outcomes that may come. Bradley Beal, we're gonna try to free you, man. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but we're gonna try to free you. But there are only 2 teams left in the NFL, and the guys from the football crew are gonna break everything down from championship weekend. Stay here on WPTV.